Alright, we're going to be tying a simple parachute today. In the vise here, we have an Arex FW571 in size 14. And for our thread, we're going to be using 12-aught nanosilk by Superfine. So before I get started with any size of this GSP, I like to use GSP wax. It really helps the thread grip. And then I go ahead and start my thread there. And you notice it doesn't slip at all when you use that. That's the Superfly GSP wax. So we're going to lay down a couple thread wraps there. Then we're going to grab, this is a Brahma hen. You can use CDL or whatever you want to use. I'm just using this because I had it close by. So we're going to measure our tail out to be 1 hook shank in length. Wrap that back. Now I see a lot of people making the mistake of the hook shank. So the hook shank doesn't go from here to here. It goes from the flat part right behind the eye to where the bend starts. So next up, we're going to grab an olive done magpie turkey bias. So the notch side, I always do the notch side facing down, because when you go to wrap this, it's going to fold over and then you get the ridge on the back side towards the tail. Grab it with our Hackle pliers here. So what I do is I just keep wrapping it and the thread grabs it. Next up, we're going to grab our post material. We're going to be using some poly yarn by Superfly. And we're going to secure that. Now, I like to secure this about an eye length back. Around about. Doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, next step is we're going to turn this in our vise. Now, this step, you don't have to do this step, but it really helps. Which I use the Stonfo transformer, and that has a gallows tool to hold the parachute for you. But not everybody has that, so we're going to do it this way. Just wrap up the post here. I should have put more securing wraps down at the bottom. So now we're going to put some more securing wraps down here. Now, the best thing to do after you get that post on there is to put a little bit of super glue or Z-Man or whatever it is that you're using. Just a little bit. And you're wanting that to soak in. You don't want, it doesn't matter if it's up at the top, you mainly want it at the base where it meets the shank. Next up, we're going to grab a little bit of saddle here. Now when I tie this in, I like for the stem to be a little bit above the post. I like to have a little bit of bare stem. Alright, then we're going to grab some Superfly superfine dubbing here. And I like this olive color. You can use sage, olive, whatever you want. We're going to use olive. Now this stuff is very long. That's actually one of my favorite parts about it. So you just stack it. When you have longer fibers, you just grab the fibers and pull them down and stack them. And we don't need much here. Grab a little tiny bit more. See what I mean by stacking it? Just get that on there, and then we're going to end at the base. Now, once again, we're going to turn this on its side. We're going to get all that out of the way there. We're going to wrap it down the base. Now the key is to not over wrap, because when you make too many wraps, then your fibers start going everywhere. Just a couple wraps there. And you don't have to strip your hackle. I just basically did that because it makes it look really nice. But when you don't strip your hackle, it pretty much just flattens out the other fibers as well. And I don't really see that much of a difference on the water with it, so. Alright, now, this next part is key to having it look very clean. A tiny, tiny amount of superfine dubbing. Now you want this to be like a tiny, tiny bit. Then we're going to use that for our whip finish. So you pull your thread over and then you push it down with your thumb. And we're going to pop that right off of there. I'll lift this up, put it back in our vise the normal way. Now any wayward trapped fibers, we're going to pop those off. And we're going to cut our chute. And that's about it. There you guys have it. Now you can go through here if you want and clean this up. At this point, it's personal preference. But, you know, to me, when I have a nice, clean looking fly, it gives me more confidence on the water. And if you don't have confidence, you're not going to catch anything. At least that's been my thing. I know the confidence doesn't matter to the fish, but it does matter to the way that you fish. So yeah, if there's anything you guys would like to see, please let me know, and I will catch you in the next one.